Trump, I think, was not on his best game on the day. I think there was a few opportunities. I counted about 7 opportunities where he didn't strike back.
Generally speaking, the stock market is now 15%.
Well, I think overall that it was a bit of a sea of sameness for me. Both parties having a crack at each other, which we all suspected. Um, Trump, I think, was not on his best game on the day. I think there was a few opportunities. I counted about 7 opportunities where he didn't strike back hard enough. I think Kamala Harris did quite a good job for her first round. It's interesting, a lot of people sort of criticised it months ago or weeks ago. Is she up for the job? She can't seem to put 2 words together. And I was always sceptical of that. She's a prosecutor with a history, and I think she held herself well. I think Donald Trump was as I said, a sea of sameness. It was a bit of started to replicate what he's been pitching for the last 6 months. But overall, I think if it was tight, and it wasn't great for me either way. I didn't come away and think, wow, it was a terrific debate. It certainly wasn't exciting to watch as the one with Hillary Clinton. I found that interesting. But I would say that if I had to rate the content and what was said, validity on particular items, I think that, I'd say that she ended up with 54 to 46. I think she actually won the debate, mainly because she was probably more relatable to people, notwithstanding how to run a country, what's in store for the next 3, 5, 10 years. I don't think that was addressed at all by either side. It's a good question. One thing that Trump has over that particular matter is time. He's a real strategist, and I think that nailing their weak points, the Democrats, of what they've done, what they haven't done more so, Trump will prey on that and pull that apart. Now, for better or worse, he's been a successful person, not just business person, TV celebrity, now politician. I think that between time will favour him, and he needs to be now on the front foot. He's not the kind that would disclose too much in relation to reforms because, well, why would you? He's certainly got the record of moving, such things as tax from 35 to 21 corporate rate. I've mentioned this before, unsurpassed. It was unprecedented. I think that was amazing. Wish we could do that down here, but we can't. So I think the way she's moving, and they don't have the expertise in the Democrat camp. They'll play the women's rights, forecasting and projection, ridiculous job figures, and really resonate to try and gain more voters. And that's where, so I think that they will make these promises to people that haven't voted or have been impartial previously. I think you'll see, the answer to your questions, I think you'll see more come out on promises from the Democrat rather than the Republican Party, because people understand or resonate with what he did in the previous term, which was mostly terrific, ex-pandemic. Yeah, look, they shied away from it for many reasons. Is that there's part of it can be a fix, an early fix, midterm fix, things like agreements to sort of guns down and a ceasefire in certain parts of the world now that are erupting. That's going to take time. oil rights and those things. I think that those and trade takes a lot more time. So shying away from that in a debate, you can only hide that for so long or defer that for so long. I think that the real area on jobs and inflation um, and cost of living, those could have been addressed a lot better in this debate. When you start talking about the global issues, either side, it wouldn't matter who's in power. Um, you're probably going to truncate the process with a better trade policy with Trump in power, because what he'll do to China as far as the input and the tariffs that he's proposing. Um, but when you start talking about jobs, standard of living, healthcare, and inflation, that they're not, they're politicians. They're not God. That takes, history says, 3 to 4 years, another 3 years at least before they wring that inflation out of the system. Um, so that's a big concern. I think that when you go to that, when you start bringing up topics of major changes or making promises, you're going to change the tide or change the current. That's it's a no-win. I think that space. So I think that they shot. And what I'm getting at, it's a difficult one to turn around. Inflation. No country's going to turn inflation off on Friday night. That takes a long time. Interest rates, also, they can't control that. What they can control is taxation, incentives for businesses, production, growth, um, more tax incentives, money coming into the country, and the border controls and those things. And we're all a bit tired of the border control. Good sources tell me that the 21 million people coming into that country is not right. It's more like half that figure he's claiming. So, I think if I was in there, but there's certain things you can't control. One thing you could make promises around would certainly be jobs, standard of living, um, and and housing. I think that is the biggest, and that's the masses. I mean, America's economy hasn't advanced on its standard of living, when you look at the cost of living per GDP, for over 100 years. So if I was trying to resonate with the people, it would be around about improving the middle class. The rich are already protected, and then trying to tackle down to um, the not so well-off people in the society. So that wasn't touched. But I guess the danger is going to those areas that either side can't fix tomorrow. What I was disappointed in is not addressing the things that we will do. 401k or superannuation equivalent, addressing the taxation on that, bringing that down. Job incentives for self-employed people to get some tax breaks on that. Government support on new housing initiatives, that's being done here, and that wasn't pushed. The war and those issues, they take a long time. So I just don't think there's a lot of the issues that touch the household and touch the heart of the voter was really explored, and it really wasn't. They were talking to each other rather than talking to potential new voters. There'll be a lot of new voters that come around, and when you look at when Obama was running, they had another 18.9 million voters that came out. I know a lot of people don't know that. They had 335 million at the time population. That was an extraordinary amount of people that came out, and particularly obviously black and young folk to come out and support him. They didn't support him the second term, but I think that those new voters. The first question is, um, are they male or female? Number one, this is the interest to me. What do they look like? What's their ages? And what's the age demographic, and also the age brackets, And what do these people do? I don't think you're going to see high net worth people move from Trump to her. So if you break down the high end, wealthy individuals, self direct or self supported retirees, the middle class, um, I don't think you'll see much. The voters that are with Trump or have been will not swing to her. I think they are hell bent on him and as loyal as hell. It's the voters that have voted in the middle, independent, that and the ones that haven't voted. I think you're going to see a lot more younger females vote between 18 and 35, swing from the Senate to her. Also, those ones that haven't voted. And I think you'll see akin to what we saw with Obama in his term, his first term. People come out and vote for her. I think right now that he's got more to gain. Sorry, Kamala's got more to gain, pardon me, than Trump on new votes. And I think it's probably a dangerous figure. It's probably 3 to 8%, which is massive. That's what I think. I'm leaning that it'd be a 52 to 54% Kamala win. That's what I think. And purely on numbers, not on policy, and certainly not on merit. Now, let's say that's eventuated today. Now the question comes about how they're going to run the country. Getting the numbers is one thing, running the nation. The concerns are no matter who wins. Now, if Kamala wins, jobs and a lot of things that will take time to materialise, but geopolitical, we're in a lot of trouble. And that means people just look back and looking at the TV at this debate, we're in their boots and all. I mean, we are not aligned with China. We are aligned with the US. And there's more chance, well, there's probably less chance of war with Trump in power. Talk's cheap. I mean, there won't be many, but with her, I think there's more chance of it being a more volatile, tumultuous world with her in power. That's what I think. But the Chinese will walk over her. They've walked over Biden. They've dictated terms. They've continued. Their military power has increased by 20% just in the last 4 years. Trade has become, I mean, they're pretty much through COVID, post-COVID, they've pretty much controlled freight, pretty much hijacked containers and shipping. Costs have gone up on those items now on day-to-day necessities by 60 to 70%. I don't know where they're getting an increase in cost of 21% from the Democrat data. That's absolute rubbish. Cost of living in Australia's food alone and essential items have jumped up by 38% from December 2019. And certain items have gone up by double. So, yeah, there's good and bad on both sides. If he, and I think there's more to be gained by him winning. I just don't know whether he's going to have the number. I don't think he's going to have the new numbers, and that's what counts. Where she'll have a lot of new voters come in there support her.